Hi, everyone. My name's Greg Knight.
I'm Ricardo Avila.
It's time to update our Take Two promo, and so we've broken out our Gen Z slang machine for Ricardo once again so that he can communicate with the kids.
I hate this.
I know you do. Here we go. The first 100 episodes of our podcast were very different from what we do now.
Those episodes are Ohio AF. You're Delulu if you think anyone stands those pods. You may as well just yeet those things out of here, no cap.
You're right, but we don't want to eliminate our show history. We want to improve it by going back into the raw audio while updating our quality.
That's the vibe. Like you're gonna flex those old pods with a bougie glow up. That low-key slaps, fam. Because right now they're pretty chugi. Good lord.
Scroll down. Okay. Listen, culture evolves over time, and our spin-off pod, Take Two, gives us the chance to go back and evolve our old podcast right along with it.
That's a bar, chat. I think this idea is pretty lit. It beats having a big yikes sitting in our archives. You gotta bling those things out with some fresh drip if you want that new subs riz, period. God, no wonder the youth are struggling. Go ahead.
So listen to Take Two in the Popping Collars feed and hear our past selves grow before your very ears.
Yeah, these pods are bussin'. You got a dub with this, plus 1,000 aura. This idea is giving. You ate.
I wonder what would happen if we changed the slang machine to the millennial setting.
Get in, loser. We're going podcasting.
Okay, that makes sense. Hi, I'm Greg.
And I'm Betsy.
And this is Going on 30, a Popping Collars side project where we just take a stroll around Vienna. You know, like you do. Friday night. Why not just stroll around Vienna? You know?
I mean, the weather's nice. Everyone is out.
Everyone. Fortune tellers, poets, everyone.
Belly dancers. I'm sorry, birth dancers. Everyone is out. Let's go.
We take a stroll around Vienna with movies that were nominated or should have been nominated for Best Picture 30 years ago this month. We're looking at Before Sunrise.
I have no idea what your situation is, but I feel like we have some kind of connection, right?
Yeah, me too.
Great. So listen, here's the deal. This is what we should do. You should get off the train with me here in Vienna and come check out the town. We just got into Vienna today, and we're looking for something fun to do.
Sprechen Sie English?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Do you speak German for a change?
Now I'm gonna call my best friend in Paris, who I'm supposed to have lunch with in 8 hours. Okay?
Okay.
Ring, ring. Pick up the phone.
Hello?
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it for lunch today, I'm sorry. I met a guy on the train and I got off with him in Vienna. We're still there.
Are you crazy?
Probably. He has beautiful blue eyes, nice pink lips, frizzy hair. I love it. I like to feel his eyes on me when I look away. You couldn't possibly know why a night like this is so important to my life right now. But it is. Since we're never going to see each other again, I don't think we should sleep together.
Let's see each other again.
I don't want you to break our vow, just so you can get laid. Men are lucky we don't bite off their head after mating. Certain insects do that, you know, like spiders and stuff. Mm-hmm. We at least let you live.
Betsy, I have a brief description of Before Sunrise. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I imagine it actually is brief.
It is brief. I will say this. We've made it. I feel like our podcast has finally made it.
How?
When we have gotten to the Before series, I know that we're doing something. We're doing something important here.
I have to tell you, the times I've been trying to run like all three movie titles in my head, I tend to get 2 out of 3. Like, it's like, I'm like, all right, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, like,
yeah,
at noon, like, you know, am I like before midnight, am I, it's evening. Like it falls apart a little bit for me on the third
I
one, but
think the
that's
next
fine. It's
one's
fine.
the next one's going to be before I take my back pill.
Yes, yes, yes. Before
Uh,
I'm on blood pressure medicine.
That's
Got
right.
it. Yes.
Here's the log line. An unexpected meeting on a train leads two travelers to spend an evening wandering through Vienna. As the night unfolds, they share stories and conversations about life and love, exploring new ideas while a quiet intimacy grows between them, knowing it may be their one and only night together.
That said more than I think it needed to, but
Okay, there you go. A growing
okay.
intimacy. It's like the quiet
Okay.
storm.
All right.
The
All
quiet
right.
storm.
Settle down.
What's your
Settle down.
history with the movie Before Sunrise?
I believe I watched this movie when it came out. I can't remember if it was in the theaters or like a rental. I remember seeing it as a very romantic movie,
Mm. Hmm.
as like a, and I will say yes, there's an intimacy to this movie where I'm trying to imagine, a bunch of friends going to see this movie. Is this a date movie? Like kind of how was it looked at and pitched at the time?
Hmm.
I really saw myself as, I had all my film bro friends, but I was trying to be a bit of a film girly. So, like, I knew Julie Delpy
Uh-huh.
from the Color series,
Yeah, the three colors. Yeah,
the Three
trilogy.
Color trilogy. What was it? It was Rouge and like
It's
I
red,
forget what
white,
they
and
are.
blue.
Red,
Yeah.
white, and blue from France, right? So, but just oh my gosh, she's just a revelation
Mhm.
in this film,
Yeah.
and to imagine like the fact that like Gwyneth Paltrow auditioned for this movie. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
no, they need to go do Great Expectations for several years. No, but it was but I just remember it being very like me seeing it as like romantic. And we'll
Yeah.
get into why that's a little bit of a push off for me. But yeah, what's your history?
Okay, so I can't tell you the first time I saw it. I know that I did not see it the year that it came out, which is a little weird because
Hmm.
I was a movie kid. So I was
Hmm.
at the movies like every weekend, kind of thing. When I was in high school, my junior and senior year of high school, I had to wait at the library until my stepdad got off of work and then he could drive me home because I didn't have my own car. So I would go to the library and I would just kind of hang out, maybe do some homework, get some CDs off the rack and go listen to something, and in like one of the
Hmm.
sound booths, whatever. But
Hmm.
I remember distinctly picking up a copy of Rolling Stone and there was a ad for this movie in the Rolling Stone and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a cool movie."
Hmm.
Never, never saw it. But it's like it had this it like stuck with me when I first saw the poster of like,
Hmm.
it's that poster of Ethan and Julie like looking at each other. And yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. There's something about that image kind of stuck, yeah, for whatever reason.
And I will admit, I have not seen the other two movies.
No kidding.
Never seen them.
Really?
Never seen them.
You may want to check those out.
I know there. I think okay. So here's my okay. We get into some hot takes. I have a little bit of a push off of this, right?
Yeah,
Because
let's
I
go
feel like
for it.
there's
Mhm.
there's some romanticism in it that I don't know. Being someone who's from not currently in a relationship, divorced. I think there was something that was like, is this too like on one hand like dreamy and
Yeah.
not real? And
Hmm.
is there some that, and I'm worried that the sequels are too real. And so it became like the like I will admit that like romance
Hmm.
is because I wouldn't even say this is necessarily a rom-com. I don't what genre is this movie?
I think it's firmly romance. Yeah,
It's firmly romance, right?
yeah. I think
And
it's an
or at
indie.
least
It's an indie version of a romance movie.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At its barest and most bold, I think it's about connecting with people. It's about connection. It's about connecting with the world around you
Hmm.
and all of that. So I think that when you're in a place where you don't necessarily have that distinct love language going on in your life with someone, some of this can feel, is this going to make me sad?
Hmm.
Right. With some of the worry. And I was actually not super looking forward to watching it again. But I kind of moved through that. Right. I think there is this element of seeing, you start to see, even in watching two people spend 24 hours together, maybe not even 24 hours, that man, these two would definitely have some issues with each other. Like
Yeah.
there's a real cynicism on his part. There's a real kind of Pollyanna on her aspect, and that is going to cause them some issue, even though they're both able to take each other's perspectives in different ways, or at least attempt to.
Hmm.
And that keeps the conversation really flavorful and interesting to listen to. But like my highest take is cell phones would ruin this movie.
Oh, totally. 1,000%.
Absolutely demolish it in all the ways.
1,000%.
You
Yeah.
know, oh, I'm going to get off with you. I'm going to book this next train. Do. Or, you know, what do you mean you're poor and you can't pay for this bottle of wine? Like, tap your phone, right?
Right.
Like everything about the connectivity in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you're going to pay this guy because he wrote you a poem, or Venmo the fortune teller, like all of that. The people just sitting in the cafe talking to each other.
Hmm.
I found all of that so refreshing and necessary in a way that I was not expecting.
Yeah, you run into these guys that tell you about their play and they have to explain to you how you're going to get to the theater. Yeah, it's like,
Right.
yeah, it's totally.
Right. And then they didn't buy tickets on the spot there. So then they missed it and lost the ticket. You know, it's like, because money is an interesting little undercurrent inside everything too, but just, you know, because it's just there in
Yeah.
their mid-20s and doing whatever.
Betsy, this is a rare occasion, but you have stumbled into my top 5.
I always stumble into the top 5. I don't know why we treat that as some sort of revelation. Okay, so what is your top 5?
It's really early
is
in the
it top
conversation.
5 plays with cows in them?
Top 5 obsolete cinematic things that we need to bring back.
Okay.
So these are
Ooh.
obsolete things that no longer exist, but they're so freaking cinematic that we need to figure out a way to bring them back.
Okay. So these are things that we use as like storytelling devices
Mm-hmm.
in cinema. And
That
we are
are
now
now
living in a world.
gone, but they
Yes.
were
Okay.
so great to see in movies that we should figure
Okay.
out a way to bring them back.
Okay. All right. Is there an honorable mention?
There is an honorable mention.
Excellent.
It's the Dick Tracy watch, which seemed really
Mm.
cool when Dick Tracy had it and seems
Mhm.
really lame in our current day.
Yes, that is true. Can you
I don't
explain to
know.
our listeners the Dick Tracy watch?
The Dick Tracy watch was a watch that Dick Tracy was able to talk into,
Yes.
like it was a walkie-talkie. He was able to communicate with the other police officers with his watch, and it
Mhm.
seems really cool. And now you watch weirdos talking to their watch, and you're like, well, that's not cool at all. That's really
not at all.
lame.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, number 5.
Okay, number 5, paper maps. Looking at a
Oh.
map on a piece of paper, having to unfold it, stretch it out over your car hood to figure out where you're going next, what road you're on. Paper
Mhm.
maps, they're so cinematic.
Yeah, I have to say I watched the show Paradise that's on Hulu with oh man, why is his name going out of my head? Sterling K. Brown. And there was a moment, and like they just released the first 3 of the second season, and this is a, you know, post-apocalyptic kind of situation, and so the paper maps, the atlases, are important,
Atlases.
and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Those
good
cross-country road
atlas.
trips with the
Oh my
atlas.
gosh! Oh,
Oh,
the AAA triptychs where you turn the thing and it's,
that's right.
oh,
Love it.
love it. Love it. MapQuest tried, but then it was just all gone. Okay, what's number 4?
Number 4, shocking that it's this low on the list because it's so cinematic. Payphones.
Mhm.
Finding a good payphone.
Yeah.
that you can send a message back to your home or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Coins become another.
That's right. Yeah. Cool.
Coins as an adjunct. All right, three.
Mhm. Three is the typewriter. The clickety clack of the
Mm,
typewriter. Especially for
yes.
like reporting for like news journalism movies. That click
Hmm.
click 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 click.
Or that thoughtful writer just being
That's
thoughtful.
right.
Yes. All right, number two.
Number two, and this could actually go into a whole like genre of thing, but I narrowed it down to microfiche. Using microfiche to like look up old articles in the newspaper.
That reminds me of being on forensics
There you
and
go.
having to do all our debate research
Mm-hmm.
for all of our
Hmm.
cases in the better than Lincoln Douglas policy debate that I
You could
did.
really make this
Yes.
a whole
We gotta.
library thing where
Hmm.
it's like I need to do research at the library,
Yes.
montage.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. And number one?
Number one is Polaroids. Being able to take a
Hmm.
picture on the spot, shake it around,
Hmm.
let it come
Hmm.
out, and you have the perfect road picture.
So many plot points on a
So
good
great.
Polaroid.
Yeah.
Think about that Polaroid when Thelma and Louise it flies out of the
Hmm.
car, right?
Every single one of these things made movies better, and cell
Hmm.
phones make movies worse.
Yes, yes. So, like, imagining when there's an awkward moment in this movie when you have these two people who then they take the awkward moment to then ask each other an interesting question
Right.
or to interact with somebody. Like, it would be the most boring movie
Yeah.
of two people staring at their phones
Yeah.
if it was realistic, right? If we're talking
Right.
about a film in realism,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
honestly, I think there is a trend and a movement to people wanting to disengage from
Hmm.
digital life and re-engage in the real world and like get
Yes.
away from their phones and get away from
Hmm.
technology and
Yeah,
social
bricking their phone and all of those
yeah.
sorts of things. Yeah.
Hmm.
I will admit in our another take on this is that in our ordering of these films, I had to remind myself that Ethan Hawke was not the douchebag character
He's
from
not.
Reality
He's
Bites.
not. He's
He's
not.
not. And so I had to divorce him from that, which was
Hmm.
initially difficult to do. And I mean, Ethan Hawke, he's just, I think seeing him nominated for awards this year,
Yeah.
that just his career is so prolific.
Yeah.
And this is a really hot time for him
Hmm.
where he is in so much stuff. This time period when this film happens, it's a lot of Ethan Hawke going on.
It's
And I
a
wonder about kind of the overexposure of him and how they kind of tempered that because I think they rode the edge for sure.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of also like what's his lane? Like
Right.
is he a Brad Pitt? Is he a Leo? Is he
Right.
like one of these things or is he something else?
He is handsome.
Hmm.
But I would say that some of those other blondies, right? He's riding the brunette, right?
Hmm.
We're not in the classically like the most good looking man in the room because
Right.
he's a quirky dude.
Hmm.
And so I think that's why, of course, him and Richard Linklater teaming up. The fact that Ethan Hawke wasn't in Dazed and Confused, because I'm also thinking
Right.
about the intersection of the careers of the three main kind of people involved in this film: Richard Linklater, Julie Delpy, and Ethan Hawke. Like this is an interesting time for these three people
Hmm.
to come together, right? And that that we do end up making two more movies on this. That Ethan Hawke and Richard Linklater make a crap ton of movies together,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that like he wasn't in Dazed and Confused because he was off doing other things, and like and he had done Dead Poets, but he's now in this. Like it's just an interesting coming together of careers.
Yeah.
I found it interesting looking into the that that Julie and Ethan did some improvisation stuff in this in these conversations that they weren't credited for
Right.
in the first time around. So there's a little
Which
friction.
gets
Right?
corrected. Yeah. Which
Right,
gets
that's corrected
corrected.
later, which I thought was interesting because it is trying to capture who is this generation? Who
Mhm.
are these people? And I think a lot of the movies, at least the past couple of years, we've had at least one or two movies that are asking that question.
Yeah.
Who is this young generation and what do they value?
Yeah, that's true. And I would say, just to the writing point, that even goes up to today, right? Because it was the next Before movie, if they had stayed on the pace that they were doing, it would have come out, what, 2 years ago or something like that. And Julie Delpy was the one that said that there wasn't a story there for Jesse and Celine. And so, and because her input as a writer on the series now is so important, they were like, well, if Julie says there's no story, then there's not a story. We're not going to force something. So I just think that yeah, it's really interesting the way that Linklater thinks about art and time. Because for him, it's like, who cares? If it takes 30 years to tell a story, fine. It takes 30 years. If I need to film Boyhood over the course of 18 years, that's fine. I don't need to
Right.
get it out tomorrow. It'll be there when we get there, kind of thing.
But that's a willingness to step outside the system
Yeah.
and to have a different creative process
Mm-hmm.
than I think what is probably pretty forced upon a lot of people.
That's
And
not the
having
Spielberg method.
that's having the cred
Yeah,
to be able to
exactly.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is interesting about that you bring up the Linklater and the Dazed, because if there is a comp that I would make for Ethan Hawke, it's maybe McConaughey, right? Like I think that the parts that Ethan Hawke doesn't get, Matthew McConaughey probably does, and vice versa.
I could see that.
Scorching hot take from me, and you actually already
Yes.
said it, so it's not even a scorching hot take anymore. So never mind. Mine was these two people should not be together.
You need to leave.
No, I think they might drive each other absolutely bananas. But I remember at the time being like, oh my God, they're just going to leave? Like it was so.
Oh, it's painful. It is so, yeah. It's
Yeah.
the
We'll meet back
tension.
here in a
Yeah.
year. No 6 months.
When you were talking about, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this movie again, there is an element to this movie, and we'll unpack this more a little bit later, but there is an element to this movie that they are so young and so naive and so dumb that, like, it's really hard to put yourself into their shoes when you're in your late 40s, early 50s. Like,
So
it's hard
yes,
to see yourself.
yes. I was just saying this the other day that, like, now my daughter's off at school and, is, dealing with her own like crushes and this and that and whatever's happening. And you can have an opinion. And the trap is when they're seeking your opinion, but your opinion can't be fueled by, I don't want my child to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because in the end, right, we all have to step in it.
Yeah, totally. That's life. That's what life is. That's how you
Right.
learn. That's how
We
you
all,
grow.
you can't
Yeah.
bubble wrap them
No.
and send them out there. So these two have to figure that out. I think there's more the regret of like, oh my gosh, the spontaneity of this.
Yeah.
Would I have that ability if I was 20, whatever? Would I have that ability now?
Yeah. I would have had that ability at one point in my life. Not now, probably. But then again, I'm
Maybe.
jaunting off to Spain, so who the hell knows? I don't know.
Right. I mean, but does the rule follow and you'd be like, oh no, I have to be on this trip. I'm having dinner with this friend tomorrow. Like, I do think it pushes kind of like, what is your Enneagram and who's okay staying on the
Yeah,
train and who's
yeah.
not,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not as hot takes. I felt bad for the guys in the play. I felt bad that Jesse and
We
Celine
never
didn't go to
circled
their-
back. we never circled back.
Were they waiting? Were like, oh, we met this
But-
American and this
But
French?
do we need Ethan Hawke's cynical review of the cow play? No, he's already
That's true.
taken down
He
the
would've-
poem and the
Oh, he would
fortune
have shit all
teller.
over that play, and it would have
He
just been
would
the
have.
worst.
And that's where it's hard to draw that line between him and his reality fights.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it.
I think the last shots of the streets of Vienna are some
Yes,
of my
without them in it. Yes.
they're some of my favorite seconds of movie making ever.
Yes.
Just because I think what it communicates to me is that while their love affair is impermanent, it's just this, it's this thing that existed for this time and then was gone. There is a life and a world that continues in the space, whether they're there or not. And we're missing them because we don't see them in these spaces anymore. But these spaces are still there and they're still gonna be there. And it's just,
And they're
I
waiting
just
for
loved it.
others to embody them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like paintings with the characters removed, right?
Mhm.
But I agree with you. It's the impermanence. It's a very Buddhist sensibility. It's that these, and every time their conversation tries to drag them back into the mundaneness of life,
Mhm.
well, do you know what bus you're taking? That just feels so trashy. So
Yeah.
like I didn't like any of that. And they even are, actively trying to avoid being in that headspace so they can be in this otherworldly. And there is something about especially like a European city and its timelessness and its
Yes.
age and that all of that, to have. I actually forgot this was in Vienna.
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
it was in Paris.
I remember Budapest. I was like, what is Budapest? And that's where he's
So
coming.
Budapest is the second
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No.
where's
No,
the
they're in
second one?
France. They're in France in 2, and then they're in Greece. Where are they in
Greece. That's right.
In 3.
Yeah, you're correct.
The reason I remembered Budapest is because he's saying he left Budapest. That's where he left his
Yes.
girlfriend.
Yes.
And he's just riding the Eurorail for 2 weeks. Yeah. So,
And it was a very real description of his breakup with the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell a little story on myself here. So I was dating somebody who'd been to college, and we graduate, and I'm going back to New Orleans, and he was going to move down there, but he got mono. Not from me, interesting, but anyway, he got sick,
Okay.
so it delayed his coming. And so then he was going to come and visit, but I had already been down there like a month at that point. And then I was like, and it wasn't like there was somebody else, because there wasn't.
Right.
But I had my own life
Yeah.
and my own friends back in my patterns since I was down there the summer before. And I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
you don't fit here anymore.
He's
for
walking
me.
into a buzzsaw. Yeah.
He's walking into a buzzsaw, much like Jesse in this film. It was like, I could just tell she was keeping all these other people around
Yeah.
so that we could avoid being by ourselves. And I did have the conversation like a couple of days into our trip, but that feeling
Yeah.
felt really real.
Yeah. Sometimes you
you
go
know, yeah.
past people, and sometimes the worst thing in the world is to surprise somebody,
Mhm. Oh, hey.
Hey, how are you? It's like, nope, you do not need to
Nope.
be in this space right now.
Nope.
One last question for the Not As Hot. Were you a listening booth person at record stores? Did you go into the listening booth?
No, I don't think I really had as many places that had those, or at least I just didn't notice them, or I wasn't around enough record stores like that. Because
Yeah.
I see them in movies. I don't necessarily remember them in my life.
We had listening booths at our record store where I grew up, but then when CDs really took off, it was just the headphones on the table.
Yes, on the table. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
do
usually
remember
the
that.
CDs were already like pre-picked. So it was like
Yeah.
they already had them queued up. So it wasn't like you could just take a record back to the room like you could with
Well,
the
because it was a lot easier to take a jewel case than it was to
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
an
I
full
listened to all of Jagged Little Pill in a record store. Best scene from the movie.
I'm going to step into the quirky lovey-dovey a little bit. It's for me the scene in the cafe when they're doing the telephone thing with each other.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it for lunch today. I'm sorry. I met a guy on the train and I got off with him in Vienna. We're still there.
Are you crazy?
Probably.
He's Austrian? He's from there?
No. He's passing through here too. He's American. He's going back home tomorrow morning.
Why'd you get off the train with him?
Well, he convinced me. I mean, actually, I was ready to get off the train with him after talking to him a short while. He was so sweet, I couldn't help it. We were in the lunch car, and he began to talk about him as a little boy seeing his great-grandmother's ghost. I think that's when I fell for him. Just the idea of this little boy with all those beautiful dreams. He trapped me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so cute. He has beautiful blue eyes, nice pink lips, greasy hair. I love it. He's kind of tall and he's a little clumsy. I like to feel his eyes on me when I look away. He kind of kisses like an adolescent. It's so cute.
What?
Yeah, we kissed. It was so adorable. As the night went on, I began to like him more and more. But I'm afraid he's scared of me. You know, I told him the story about the woman that kills our ex-boyfriend and stuff. He must be scared to death. He must be thinking I'm this manipulative, mean woman. I just hope he doesn't feel that way about me. Because you know me, I'm the most harmless person. The only person I could really hurt is myself.
I don't think he's scared of you. I think he's crazy about you.
Really?
I mean, I've known you a long time, and I got a good feeling. You gonna see him again?
We haven't talked about that yet.
That desire that we have when we're infatuated with somebody to hear them talk about us with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think that was so well captured in that moment. And I don't know what any of the other people in this cafe are saying. I find it interesting the lack of subtitles
Yeah.
for the German that's happening in this film.
Yeah.
Like I watch things with closed captioning and there's no closed captioning. It just says German.
Right.
And so you're like, well,
Which is
you know,
very European. If you're in Europe, that's what it's like.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it's very much to the point of this movie. It's not what they're talking about that matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that there's connection, there's friends. You're looking at how friends look at each other, the laughing, you know, two guys, a girl, you know, this couple and the third, and, you know, like whatever. And the fact that phones are like this.
Yeah.
And now sign language phones. I'm holding up listeners who can't see, like, you know, like you're holding a cell phone up to your face.
Yeah.
As opposed to the
opposed
pinky
to doing
finger,
the Hawaiian
thumb,
hang loose.
Hawaiian,
yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So yeah, I really like that scene. What about you?
Yeah, I love that scene. God, that scene's so great. Because one of the things that I like about it is that when Julie Delpy starts it, you know, she's talking to her friend, quote unquote friend, about Jesse. But really you can see her sort of trying to tell herself, like she's talking to herself. But like this is nuts to be with this guy right now, but he's a lot of fun to be with, you know, that kind of thing. It's so good.
It's almost like a Pauline kind of rhetorical style.
Yeah.
Like when Paul would write to communities and he'd be like, I was just saying to my friend Greg the other day, like, we were just talking about the issue you guys are having. And you're like, were you really? That's so convenient. But, you know, like, yeah, I agree with you.
Mine is the grandmother, the dead grandmother in the hose story.
My great-grandmother had just died, and my whole family had just visited them in Florida. I was about 3.5 years old. Anyway, I was in the backyard playing, and my sister had just taught me how to take the garden hose and do it in such a way that it sprayed into the sun and it would make a rainbow, right? And so I was doing that, and through the mist, I could see my grandmother. And she was just standing there, smiling at me. And I held it there for a long time. I looked at her. And finally, I I let go of the nozzle, and then I dropped the hose, and she disappeared. And so I run back inside and I tell my parents, and they sit me down and give me this big rap on how when people die, you never see them again, and how I'd imagine it. But I knew what I'd seen. I was just glad that I saw that. I mean, I've never seen anything like that since. But, I don't know. It just kind of let me know how ambiguous everything was. Even death.
And I had forgotten about that story. Like I knew the whole setup. I knew they meet on the train, that sort of meet cute, and then eventually he talks her into getting off. But I'm like, what would be the thing that would make you think, okay, I could go with this guy? And then when he tells that story of, holding the hose and making the rainbow, making the hose catch the light so that it creates a rainbow, and he sees his dead grandmother like through the hose. I was like, yeah, that's the story. That's a story that would get you off of this train with this guy, because it's so sweet. It's so stinking sweet that you can't help but see the little boy behind this guy. Of everything that the movie could start with, that was such a perfect way to start it, because otherwise there's so much wrong with Jesse that he needs a perfect story to get Celine off of that train, and he delivers. And I think that's I just thought it was great.
I mean, she's also written a short story about murdering her boyfriend, which I also thought was so funny. But I could see why a therapist might be like, huh, this is troubling. So she's got her own stuff going on, but
she's got her own stuff, but she's very she's very justice oriented, she's very
she's a little too sincere for him. She's a little too sincere. I feel like that one. But then it could be age too. So
and background. I mean, he just feels so American, I love that joke when she's on the train. She's like, "You're American? Really?" It's like it's the most American.
Right. And then somebody tries to make it later, like the two guys on the bridge later in the film, they're like, "Oh, never mind." Like same joke, slightly different.
Yeah. What's the best performance from the movie?
I'm with Julie.
Yeah, she's so good. I actually just saw a movie that she was in called Europa, which was 1989 or 1990. It was right before this movie came out.
Yes.
And she was great in that too. She's just really good.
I feel like I watched that movie in my German cinema class that I took in college. Yes.
It's a Holocaust movie. Yeah, for the
no, she is
pre-Schindler's List Holocaust movie.
Yes. She's just so good. She was in most recently, I think I'd watched her in Hostage, which is like a five-part limited episode piece with one of my favorite British actresses, Suranne Jones, and she's just she's the Prime Minister of France. And she's just kind of a badass bitch. She's conservative. She's, obviously it's but she's in the midst of something that's kind of, intriguey, actiony movie type thing in a way. But she's just got it all.
And you haven't seen the other two movies. I don't want to spoil anything in the other two movies, but I would say Before Midnight is where Julie Delpy just really just owns this whole series. Yeah.
Okay, great.
She's one of these actresses that I really do think every time I see her, she's somehow better than the last time that I saw her. So I just, I don't know. That may just come from experience or whatever, but yeah.
She's in Avengers? Age of Ultron?
Oh, gosh.
She plays Madam V?
Yes. So, okay. So, yes, she is. I think this was a favor that she did for somebody, because she is in a flashback scene for Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow character, where
yes.
Scarlett Johansson has a flashback of her time as like a Russian assassin, and Julie Delpy's like one of the people training her. And Julie Delpy is in that movie for all of 3 seconds in a montage.
Yes. I had also forgotten that she was in ER
Yeah.
for 7 episodes as Nicole, Dr. Green, if I remember. There was something going on there. Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
I'm gonna go off the beaten path with mine.
Oh, because there's only 2 characters in this movie with names. So yes, so you have to call him that.
I really like the poet. What's that guy's name? I thought he was
He doesn't
good.
have a name. There's no name for the character.
Okay, the character doesn't have a name. Who's this actor? Hang on, let me see if I can find him.
Guy on a bridge, farmer, street poet, Dominic Castile.
Okay, there you go, Dom. Great job, bud.
Eine Frage, ich möchte was fragen.
What?
Eine Frage.
Oh, I understand a little bit, but she doesn't at all. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, I would like to make a deal with you. I mean, instead of just asking you for money, I will ask you for a word. Yeah, you give me a word, I take the word, and then I will write a poem with the word inside. And if you like it, I mean, if you like my poem, and if you feel it adds something to your life in any way, then you can pay me whatever you feel like. I write in English, of course.
Okay.
All right, great. So? Pick a word.
Oh,
A word. Milkshake.
milkshake. Oh, good. Yeah, I was going to say rooster prick, but great. Milkshake.
Milkshake. Okay, milkshake.
I thought he was really good. He had that sort of manic energy that, you know, somebody living on the street probably has. But then when he actually reads the poem, it's just so lovely. I just thought it was really good.
But then I sense my own cynical nature. I'm like, oh yeah, he's totally got phrases just in there, and he's just popping milkshakes in there. His milkshake is bringing all the poets to the yard, like whatever. Like yeah, I there are elements to it that I didn't like that I empathized with Jesse because I had similar thoughts. Where I'm
Yeah,
like, oh girl, put that money away. That palm reader ain't gonna help you.
we'll save it for the big idea. I've got it. I've
Oh
got some of
dear.
those things in the
Oh
big idea.
dear.
I got some stats about this movie though.
Stats.
Before Sunrise came out on January 27th, 1995.
And it earned nothing.
Yeah, I did.
Very little. I did see that.
It's a dumpuary.
I'm a little worried.
It's a dumpuary film,
Yeah,
but January
well,
27th, I think they were getting out before Valentine's Day. They were trying to like
Oh.
This Day in 90210. Ba, 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 ba,
Na-na-na-na.
ba, ba, ba.
Ba-na-na. Shh.
Should I have the link of the Muppets 90210 that you sent me?
Absolutely. Wasn't that AI
Text.
just so fun?
When
It was
Kermit
great.
does the punches, that's what
Yes.
cracked me up.
Yes. So good.
We have arrived at season 5, episode 18, entitled "Hazardous to Your Health."
Uh-oh.
Oh,
A
boy.
keg house? I always wanted to be keg
No.
house.
Oh, boy. It's a
no.
Dylan.
This Dylan's deep in addiction.
It's a Dylan plot description. Here we go. Dylan flies to Mexico on the trail of Kevin and Suzanne's smuggling business.
No. Oh, this
This
is his
is when
dad
Dylan lost his
and
money.
his stepmom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the little
the
girl, the little girl.
That's
His
yeah, I think
sister.
so. Yeah. On the trail of Kevin and Suzanne's smuggling business. And then here's the second sentence. He enlists Valerie and her feminine wiles to help pull off his plan.
Oh, no. So still not Noxzema girl.
Still not Noxzema girl. It should be pointed out this is Tiffany Amber Thiessen's first season on the show. It was season 5, and she is already going to Mexico with feminine wiles to pull off a plan for
Listen, they just fold her right in, Greg.
What are we doing?
Like she's been here the whole time. Who's going to make an incredibly risky decision like that? Valerie.
Good heavens. Before Sunrise had a domestic gross of $5 million.
Yikes. Hold on. Let me pull out IMDb right now. Woo. Okay.
Yeah, you're
Maybe
gonna
there's
need
some other little friends down there with it that that movie.
$5
Okay.
million, making it
Okay.
the number 145th grossing movie of 1995. It is the number
Oh.
6,719th top grossing movie of all time. It comes between
Okay.
a movie called Once Upon a Forest. Once Upon a Forest, which I have as a 1993 animated movie.
Hold on. I got to get my readers out. Hold on. Let's go. Okay. 1993. Oh, Ben Vereen. Michael
Okay.
Crawford. A young mouse, mole, and hedgehog risk their lives to find a cure for their badger friend who's been poisoned by men.
By men?
Not just humans, men.
I thought you were going to say by Menon.
By men. No, this is Hanna-Barbera. Hanna-Barbera.
There we go. Once Upon a Forest.
Okay. The forest.
And then
Okay.
you get Before Sunrise. And then on the other side of Before Sunrise, you get Hear No Evil. Hear No Evil,
Oh, this
which
is.
I have as a Marley Matlin horror movie.
It's got the monkey
I don't
on
know
the
if it has a
poster.
monkey.
Hear no evil, see
Hear
no.
No Evil.
Not hear no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, which is a Richard Pryor,
Yeah,
Gene
that's a Richard
Wilder
Pryor. No,
vehicle.
that made way more money than this.
Oh, Marley. Oh, you're leaving out DB Sweeney. How can you
Oh, it's
leave out
DB
DB
Sweeney in it too.
DB Sweeney?
Okay.
A deaf woman becomes the target of a ruthless, corrupt cop.
Is DB Sweeney the corrupt cop?
I'm really thinking is Jillian Shanahan, a deaf woman, becomes the target of a ruthless and corrupt cop. The cop is looking for a stolen coin, which he plans to keep for himself. A journalist briefly acquires the coin and hides it in Jillian's apartment. What an ass. Then his
Wow.
car explodes. Now the cop is after her. This is a poorly written thing by a man named Rob Hartel.
Marley Matlin. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Greg, this cast gets better.
Oh,
Marley Matlin, DB Sweeney, Martin Sheen,
okay. All right.
John C. McGinley
Okay.
of
All right.
Scrubs fame.
Uh-huh. Here we go. Flirt, Marry,
Okay.
Kill, Hear No Evil, Before Sunrise, Once Upon a Forest.
I will flirt with Hear No Evil.
Yeah, you got
'Cause you know what?
It's a banger.
I like, and then I gotta marry Before Sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sorry, I gotta kill the forest people. They're gonna be unsuccessful. Gonna be
Ding, ding, ding. That's the correct
roadkill.
answer.
Yeah, roadkill over there. I'm so sorry for your badger friend and his injuries by men.
Yeah. Bye, Menon. Sorry. Once Upon a Forest.
We can't say it again, or we're gonna have to pay them. They're not a
Gotta
sponsor.
go. That Hear No Evil. Well, that sounds great. You know, God, that
Yeah.
sounds like the perfect Saturday night HBO movie. I got nothing
Yes.
going on. Let me fire
Nothing
up Hear No
going
Evil.
on.
You know?
We've got moderate sex and nudity, severe violence and gore,
Yeah, totally.
moderate profanity, no
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs, and smoking.
That is a I got nothing going on 9 o'clock Saturday night HBO movie. Betsy, this is a rarity, but
No.
again, I'm gonna say that this just calls into question the metrics
Mhm.
of Rotten Tomatoes. Before Sunrise has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, 100% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, again, this doesn't mean that it doesn't have detractors. It just means we're on a scale of okay to love.
That feels like revisionist history or something to me.
Yeah, I will say this: there weren't as many reviews as I thought would be on there
Okay.
from the top critics, and so I think that's
Mhm.
interesting too. What do you think Roger Ebert thought of this movie?
I'm trying to think of what he might have thought of earlier Richard Linklater vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the relationships save this from kind of being a slacker film about nothing. So I feel like he likes it. I don't think he loves it.
I think you know your Roger Ebert.
Oh, my Roger
Is what
Ebert.
I think. He says Before Sunrise is so much like real life, like a documentary with an invisible camera. that I found myself remembering real conversations I had experienced with more or less the same words. 3 out of 4 stars.
More same words. Okay.
Raj probably
I'm-
didn't have an idea about a cable access show that followed somebody
No,
around for
my
24
friends are in cable access, which is weirdly a
worst.
little bit what Reality Bites was about, but that's fine. Whatever.
My God, that was the worst idea ever. I was
I
just like,
mean,
oh, who would want
also, all his friends sound like assholes. Can we talk about that? They do not sound, the guy who's like, "Do you believe in God?" to the unhoused person. Like, what?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
she
then
said it. He
drives
sounds
away.
mean.
So mean.
So
So,
mean.
oh my gosh.
His friends are jerks. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I don't have a Rita Kimpley review, and
Mm,
and here's the thing: I had to dig to find a Janet Maslin review, but I finally found one. So I
okay.
have Janet Maslin from the obscure New York Times.
Sometimes their search function is not good.
I'm having to scour the internet for Times articles. She says Before Sunrise is an uneven. Wait,
Fiction.
Before Sunrise is as uneven as
Uh-huh.
any marathon conversation might be, combining colorful, disarming insights with periodic lulls. The filmmaker clearly wants things this way, with both these young characters trying on ideas and attitudes as if they were new clothes.
That's interesting. Being around a lot of young people and the discourse of young people in a world that definitely is communicating to them that they should already know what they think about everything. That actually having a conversation with somebody and having that your mind changed or learned something from it. The examples we get out in the world are that we don't do that anymore.
Right.
I find her take on that interesting.
I think that
Changing
there are
clothes.
definitely times where Jesse is trying to say what he thinks Celine wants to hear. I think Celine is the more honest of the two. I think that Jesse can only pretend for so long before his honesty just kind of like trickles out. How did it do at the Oscars? Betsy, you're going to be shocked to find out that this movie has no wins nor nominations.
Ugh, I knew it.
Can't believe it. However, it has one MTV Movie Award nomination.
No.
Betsy, what was this movie nominated for at the MTV Movie Awards?
Best kiss.
It was. It's nominated for Best Kiss. I don't know which one. It looks like Ethan Hawke is trying to eat Julie Delpy in some of these kisses. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little aggressive, but
so-
but we don't
So
know who
I'm
won.
I'm guessing
How do we
it's the
not
one.
know who won?
Oh, I didn't look it up.
Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly for their performance in Dumb and Dumber.
All right, this is unserious. This is why we can't have nice things.
I guess this is it now.
Yeah. I really. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I know it. I have a great life. Have fun with everything you're gonna do.
All right.
Work
Good luck
hard.
with school and all that.
Okay.
Oh, I hate this.
Me too. The train is about to leave.
Listen, you know all this bullshit we're talking about not seeing each other again? I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
You don't either?
I was waiting for you to say it.
Why didn't you say something?
I was afraid maybe you didn't want to see me.
All right, well, listen, what do you want to do?
Maybe we should meet here in 5 years or something.
All right, 5 years? 5 years, that's a long
Yes,
time.
it's awful. It's like a sociological experiment. How about 1 year?
1 year, all right.
1 year.
How about 6 months?
6 months?
Yeah.
It's gonna be freezing. Yeah.
Who cares? We come here, we go somewhere else.
Okay.
What's the lasting legacy of this movie? I have
Last night.
romance, but this is like a whole genre in itself. So for instance, I think that this whole movie is built on a romantic ideal, starting with this idea of just traveling through Europe.
On a
Like,
train.
on a train. Like, what are we
Mhm.
talking about?
This
Mhm.
call, like, I'm like, did European tourism boards fund this film? And so give a few kickbacks to old Richard Linklater. I mean, he's not trying, he's not making it seem more glamorous than it is, but it's like,
No.
yeah.
It's like he's just walking around filming the city, and it just so happens that the city is crazy romantic. Like in all
Yeah.
aspects of life, it feels like, you know.
Well, and I will say this takes me to what Emily thinks of this movie,
Okay.
because I think it feeds into your thoughts here, right? So I said, thoughts on Before Sunrise is our text exchange. She said, what's the new meme of guys carrying tote bags to show they are good people? And I said, performative male? And she said, yes. And I said, matcha, etc. And she said, Before Sunrise is performative male in the 90s.
Wow.
Every deep guy I knew would say they like it to try to get girls to like them.
Wow. That's a really cynical, that's a Jesse take.
That is a very Jesse
And
take.
I think the real heart of this movie is, do you see this movie cynically or do you
Hmm.
see this movie romantically?
I agree.
Do you?
I I think that's a great point, Greg. No, I mean, we've already said, right, that I struggle with identifying with the Jesse character at
Mhm.
times in this film. But there is, I have to own that there's also a big part of me that is more Pollyanna.
Mhm.
That maybe it is, I don't want to get taken in by the cares of the world to see it in a more cynical light.
Yeah.
That don't we all yearn for connection of some kind
Mhm.
and in some way, no matter how that looks. It's like when people ask me, oh, Ruby's graduated. Like, when are you going to get how long are you going to stay at your job? Right? Like, because she went to this school and like somehow our fates were tied together. But like, I love where I live. I love
Mhm.
that I live where I work. I love the communalness of this. I love that I could sit on people's porches here and have great conversations. Like, there's something so human about all of that, that
Mhm.
I love that this movie celebrates that. Yeah, and that it isn't just about them having sex. It isn't just about the physical nature of a relationship. Do they have sex?
They do.
They do, right?
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it isn't the penultimate. It isn't like the
It's
it
not
could
the
have happened or not
climax of the
happened.
film. Yeah.
Yes, technically, literally, whatever. But figuratively, but that it isn't set up that way. I would have been fine if they
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. I think they would have been fine if they didn't.
Yes, I agree.
I'm so glad you brought vocation into this because I see this when it comes to like belief, church, faith, all of that, which is
Hmm.
to say that there are so many reasonable things that people could say about the church as an institution that would make you say, yeah, I get it. It is a bunch of bullshit. Like, I get it. I understand.
Hmm.
But it does something. Like, there's something real about it for me, right?
Hmm.
And I think that that's a little bit of what it is that we're talking about with this movie is like there are people who would see the work that we do and be like, "Really? Like you believe those crazy ass stories and like
Hmm.
you like, live your life according to a certain like according to like 2000-year-old tenets? You don't see a problem with that, and stuff." That's when this romantic side of me comes in and says, I have seen it change lives and make people better human beings. And if
Hmm.
I hadn't, like if I didn't have that romantic ideal of what this work could be, then yeah, I'd probably give in to the cynicism of it.
Yeah. And
Um,
like we've talked about my, Gen X cynicism that I struggle with in my life. And that it's just kind of that, oh, well, everybody likes that thing. I'm not gonna like that thing. Like that sort of thing. But I do think at my core, I couldn't do the work I do without having the hope. I
right.
think that's why when the hope wanes, when it gets beat up, it becomes more easy to go inward,
Hmm.
and the connections stop happening as easily because it's
Yeah.
like I just, because it's faith in the whole infrastructure and the
Right.
whole interconnectivity of the world and people. And so it's why I feel like there's, and I'll say this, right now as we're sitting here in, early March of this year, like that's why like I need to go retreat. I need to go reconnect
Mhm.
with myself and with my God. I need that because yeah, when my cynicism starts to take over, like I don't want to preach from that place. I don't want to pastor from that
No,
place.
definitely not.
You
And
know.
it's why I get brokenhearted when I see people exploit the hopefulness of people of faith, where it's like,
Hmm.
people worm their way into leadership in institutions and use their positions of authority and power to break people, to exploit them physically, financially, emotionally, whatever. And it's just like, I can't believe that I work for an institution where priests have done this, or bishops have done this, or, lay
Hmm.
people have done this. I know that it happens. I know that they are in this institution, and yet I'm still committed to this faith, even though I know that these terrible things have happened to people in these institutions, and it's just like, it is heartbreaking to know that there are people who
Hmm.
take advantage of other people's idealism.
And I find it interesting that in the discourse of the last several years, your use of that word, heartbreaking, heartbroken. I mean, that is a word that was traditionally reserved for romantic love.
Hmm.
I am heartbroken, right? He broke my heart. She broke my heart. But now, and who knows whether emojis are a part of it, I don't know, but that we talk more about being heartbroken because we're actually saying, I'm invested in my community. I'm invested in other people. I love them. My heart is there. And so my heart is broken. And when horrible things are happening in the world, it's hard to put deeper language on it than like my heart is broken or God's heart is breaking
Hmm.
or God is here in this brokenness. And I find that transition of language use really interesting and appropriate.
Okay, I have one last question in this,
Hmm.
and this is fascinating because you have not seen the other two movies. But you know that there are two other movies and that those two other movies have Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy in them. So you know that
Yes,
there's
I
some
am
interaction.
aware of that.
So knowing pretending that those two movies don't exist,
Got
right?
it.
Do you think that these two people would meet again 6 months later?
No, no, I think they're young enough that life takes over.
I find myself believing different things each time that I watch the movie. And
Mm,
this time I
you think they
thought,
do?
yes, absolutely, because they seem so desperate on that train
Mm,
platform.
they do.
And it's that level of desperation that makes me think that at least one of them, if not both of
Shows up.
them, would show up at that platform. Yeah.
Mm,
Who
mm.
is this movie for?
I always find my answers are really simple on this, and yours are more complex because I always look at it generationally.
Mine is very simple this time.
I mean, I think it's for Gen X romantics.
I said teenagers because
Mm,
it's not like it's for someone who has a romantic idea of what your 20s could be. Not necessarily like people in their 20s or, older.
yeah,
It's for like teenagers who are like, "Oh, when I'm 23, I hope I meet
right,
somebody on the train."
right. It's when I watch Singles and I'm like, that's going to be my life, my urban apartment.
Yeah,
Not when I watch
exactly.
Reality Bites. I'm like, there's no way I'm these losers.
Oh, what's your rating for this movie out of five? Can it beat Babe? Can it can it beat that little pig?
I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay, it did.
It did
Yay.
beat the pig.
Beat the pig.
It did. What about you?
Oh gosh, I've rated this movie something different like every time I've watched it. I settled on a 4.5 this time. Here's the funny thing about this time watching it. I found it so hard for whatever reason this time to detach my knowledge of Sunset and Midnight from this particular viewing. Thinking about the other two movies made this movie feel better in my mind. So, and we already said what Emily said about this movie. So
We did. Performative male.
what do you think Whoopi Goldberg said about this in her Oscars monologue?
Nothing.
0. So we won't even play Whoopi Goldberg at this
Zip-a-doo.
point. She did not say anything about Before Sunrise. I will say this though, Betsy. So this clip that we have of Whoopi Goldberg doing her opening monologue at the Oscars, she is on stage and sitting in the very front in the Jack Nicholson seat, like right down front, is Mel Gibson and his date. And Mel is doing an okay job of laughing at Whoopi Goldberg's jokes. Mel's date is doing like a Fox News host job of laughing at
Over the
Whoopi
top.
Goldberg's she is stink eyeing Whoopi Goldberg the
Oh, no.
entire monologue, and it is something to see. So if you want to add to the video of the comedy being told, just imagine the jokes that Whoopi Goldberg is telling in these opening monologues with a 20-year-old girl frowning at her from the front.
That's tough.
It's tough.
Because we all don't remember what that woman's name is, probably.
That's right. And that's a great segue because next up, Betsy.
Oh, God.
Whew, here we go.
Get your blue paint on.
Get your Mel Gibson takes off. It is time for Braveheart. Settle in. That's like a 5-hour movie. So
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. All right.
That's
We'll
it.
see y'all next time.
thank you for jumping off the train with me. What's the first thing you want to do in Vienna?
I've never been to Vienna before.
Well, they have amazing sausages. You want to get some sausages?
Let's go. Let's go. And a beer.
They come in little tin cans, though. They
Oh
look
my
like little hot
God,
dogs.
no. There's lots of kinds of sausage, Greg.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.